Next, I'd like to welcome Cheno. She's been through so much and struggled, but she brought herself back up. But she's here today to tell you her story. I'd like to welcome up C.A.R.L.Y.
Brothers and sisters, my name is C.A.R.L.Y. and this is my YFC life. Brothers and sisters, each letter of my name represents a stage of my YFC life. You know, from a stage when I loved being around, to a stage when I started taking this community for granted.
Everyone might go through the same stages that I do, but this is my story. And it starts from stage 1, created. I have never felt more comfortable in my life as I ever did here. I remember at this moment, I could truly set my heart on who I really wanted to be. I could truly feel the love that the leaders gave me. And I just remember after this camp, I would always be accounted for to make sure I was safe. It really did show that God did have a plan for me, from something that simple. And the people around me were nice, all the time. I felt so comfortable with not being afraid of being myself. And as that fire started, I knew that God had started to create a better path. Nothing could stop me. I felt that I could truly be myself without being judged. Friendships kept growing. The household I was placed in became so heartwarming, and most importantly, my connection with family.
Wait. Let's pray over the food first.
I learned so much more about my faith. Going to church, it didn't seem something time-consuming anymore, but became a time that I wanted to consume, because I wanted to know my calling as a child of God. And it became unexpected, but it seemed like when it all was starting to come together, God had also blessed me with someone special. And I never knew this would lead me here, which led me on to my next stage, anticipating. After, I was waiting for more events. It truly would remind me and change me in who I was as a person. I loved going to households. I loved going to meetings. And most especially, I loved going to camps. I would make it on a daily to schedule my time for YFC. Not only just of the faith, but the friendships. I felt so accountable after my joining camp. I made so many great and deep friendships with new people that I never expected to. I was blessed enough to find people who were not afraid of showing their faith. And when the time came, when God felt like it was the right time, He called me to do my first ever talk. I had never felt the joy than I did when I was asked. It's funny to say that I used some of the time I would use for studying towards my calling into this talk, because all I wanted to do was inspire and help people, just like how my leaders inspired me. And after that first talk, I just wanted to do more. And praise God that when years passed, all those skills that I had from giving talks helped me with my public speaking by giving presentations in school or university. It's something so simple within the community that helped me inside of life. And during those years, I went from becoming a household head to a unit head to a chapter head. It was literally the biggest ride of my life, and it was worth every mile. But as time went on, serving the community time and time again, reality kicked in. The thing is, when you're a YFC for so long and leading for so long, you hear the same thing over and over again. And all I cared about was how people acted, how talks were said, that I forgot to apply the teachings from the talks to my own life. It felt so hard to focus because my ego as a leader caught up to me. I was so focused on my members that I forgot who I truly was. I lost sight of myself. And don't get me wrong, I still love being in the community, but it made me realize that I live in a reality outside of YFC. I live a life.
This was my lowest point. I was mentally drained. The fire that was ignited when I joined, it was completely burnt out.
I've seen this before during my journey, but I chose to ignore it. But this time it hurt, because it was the time I needed it the most. And not only that, but it didn't set a good example to my members either. I just couldn't believe it. It just felt like all that fire that was created for me just didn't mean anything anymore. So I decided to take that fire and let it burn out. As time went on, I just wanted to give up, step down, and not worry about leading anymore. I couldn't handle it anymore. The fire that started just disappeared. Not only did the stress from the community come out, but it came out in my relationship. It seemed like I didn't even put enough time into him. He questioned my existence in us. And then it came to the point when I had to make a decision. My relationship or my service. Do I choose for someone God had blessed me with? Or choose for a God who gave his life to me? This is when I knew I was lost. It hurt so much at this point. I had truly forgotten who I was. My service came to the point when it was burnt out. My prayer life became so low that I would invest my time doing something in my own doing than doing something faithful. It wasn't as the time as before. From when I joined, creating that fire to die out. It wasn't the same. My leaders aren't the same. I wasn't the same. After all of that, why now? Who am I?
I knew this was the right time to truly seek help. I want to be the same person that had that burning fire within my YFC life. Who I was when I became a leader. I want it all back.
Why do you want to go back?
I want to be the same person because it felt right.
Would you do it all over again?
Of course,
Even if that means coming back to where you are now. See, C.A.R.L.Y, all the things you're going through is something that needs to happen, and to allow that fire to restart. Taking that fire and letting it burn out. It's normal. But it doesn't mean that we can't light it up again. We as people are candles, and sometimes the fire needs to burn out, just for it to start again. The candle represents our life. As time goes on, we use that fire to keep burning, and our candle becomes smaller and smaller. Because that's God telling us our purpose in life has been done using that fire. Hey, it's time to continue on. Come inside and we'll continue talking.
I am a youth. I am a youth for Christ. I am made to be imperfect. All the struggles I went through to get here, it was all worth it. But now, it's time for me to rekindle. It's time for me to start again. I cannot wait to see what God has yet to show me.
Brothers and sisters, my name is C.A.R.L.Y. And this is my YFC life.
I can see a tear fall slowly, don't even wipe away, so I'll believe.
5C, take 5.
Yeah.
Much and struggled.
Action.
Goodbye.